Now we want to look at scientific notations and how it helps with significant figures. So let's look here. First of all, we want to learn how to write or revise how to write something in scientific notation. If you have something like this and you are to write in scientific notation, normally the thing you have to, in a standard scientific notation, you have only one digit to the left of the decimal points. So what you have to do in our case here is to move this the imaginary decimal here 3 places, 1, 2, 3, because we are dealing with a whole number. So we move 3 places. That's where we want the point to be there, because we clearly see the standard scientific notation must have only one digit to the left of the decimal point. So we move up till here and then we get this. And how many times did we move? 1, 2, 3, so 10 raised to 3. If you see here, this number here has 3 significant figures, because in whole numbers the 0 here is not considered as a significant figure, and this, as we've written here, also has 3 significant figures. You see 1, 2, 3. And then we don't need to write the 0, else it's going to give us 4, which we don't want, because this number has 3 significant figures. Now let's look at another example. If we have this and we want to write it in scientific notation, so since the definition says there's only one digit to the left of the decimal point, so what we have to do is that we are moving the decimal point. So we move this here, only one digit. When we moved it here, it means that it's times 10, and that's it, because then if you multiply this, since we are going in the opposite direction, it's times 10 raised to minus 1. If you go to the right, it's minus. Each time it becomes minus. If you go to the left, it's plus. Now let's look at another question. We have this here. We have 250.0 times 4.0. We know if we do this multiplication, we end up with this. Now normally we know that if we are working with significant figures, we have to look at the figures that we dealt with before we arrived at a solution, so we can know what significant figures we have to express the solution. If we look here, this has 4 significant figures, this has 2 significant figures, and normally we use the smallest significant figure to express to put in the results. So this should have 2 significant figures. As this stands, you can see that this has 1 significant figure, because it has zeros at the end, and these zeros are not counted as significant figures if we are dealing with whole numbers. So to get this to 2 significant figures, we use scientific notation. We have now 1.0, because we move 1, 2, 3, and then because we move 3 to the left, it will be 10 raised to 3. I don't know whether I said it or not, but in significant figure, if you deal with significant figures, the 10 raised to whatever are not counted. They are not they are not needed for the significant figures. They are not important. The only thing you have to look at these numbers here to determine their significant figures. These are ignored totally. Now let's look at another thing I wanted to show you. Is imagine you are given such a something like this and you have to resolve it, normally you would have resolved the brackets first and then you would have done the division. But here, because we are dealing with significant figures and scientific notations, it's better to do this first. So what you do is that you first multiply these numbers or divide or whatever. So here we have division, so we divide these first, and if I do the division, I did the division in my calculator, I got this. And then now you deal with these ones. So we are 10 raised to 4 divided by 10 raised to 2. We subtract the exponents, so we got 10 raised to 2. Now we see here that this has 2 significant figures and this has 2 significant figures, so we have to express this in 2 significant figures. Then what do? We look at the third figure to see whether we have to round up or round down. Here we don't need to we don't need to round up, so we end up with 4.6 times 10 raised to 2. What I wanted to say, that if you want to understand more about significant figures, please watch my previous video about significant figures. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Bye.